Hi guys, Constitutionality News here, CAN for short. Ran across this article published yesterday by Miss Val Van Brocklin, who is a former state and federal prosecutor and now an international law enforcement trainer and writer. Hope she doesn't arrest me for reposting her article and making a comment or two on it. But it's something I thought some of you out there need to hear, need to see. I've watched quite a few First Amendment audit videos, both good cops and bad cops. And yeah, there's a bit of both. But anyway, I thought this article quite interesting. I've only read a portion of it, so we'll be seeing most of this together. Anyway, on to the article. How police can determine the endgame of constitutional auditors. PDs need to prepare for outside agitators, harassment, death threats, and coordinated efforts at call flooding and records requests flooding intended to overwhelm agency resources. A phone call I recently received led me to a possibly new or broader threat against law enforcement from self-proclaimed constitutional auditors than I've seen widely discussed. Maybe it's time we consider and prepare for it. The lawsuit that rang my phone. Last month, I got a voicemail from a lawyer who wanted to know if I'd consider testifying as a plaintiff's expert in a lawsuit against the Leon Valley Police Department in Texas. He said he was calling me because it was almost an exact scenario you blogged about having to do with cell phones of witnesses being seized by police. Well, I'm not going to go into Leon Valley because I don't know. I haven't heard an update on it lately. But suffice it to say that, in my opinion, there were a number of illegally seized devices, cell phones among them, and they were calling these people witnesses. Although it's the first time I ever seen witnesses handcuffed, but I wasn't there. Anyway, she goes on to say, I don't blog, but I did write about this on Police One. I'm guessing the lawyer had an assistant search online for experts on police and the First Amendment. If he'd actually read my article and bio, he might have surmised that I work to help officers of departments avoid getting sued. So she declined his invitation. And I don't blame her. I wouldn't want to get involved either. But anyway, a typical constitutional auditor case. Now, this is her version of a typical case. Y'all can make up your own mind about this. At first glance online, the Leon Valley matter looked like just another constitutional auditor case involving individuals conducting what they term First and Second Amendment audits. If you haven't heard about or experienced one yet, go to YouTube. You'll find people who open carry AR-15s because they can, and then record the police response. You'll find people with cameras surveilling government buildings inside and out in broad daylight. When else would you really want to do it? Or at night from a parked car. That's a new one. I haven't seen anybody doing that yet. And then recording the police response. Or they simply focus on recording police activity. Many videos are embarrassing to law enforcement or worse. Some auditors also post good cop interactions. Well, I'm going to stop right there for a second. Of course, the videos are embarrassing to law enforcement because, again, it's just my opinion, and we all know what they say about opinions. Excuse me. It occurs to me, after watching many of these videos, that most police either are ignorant of the actual laws, and I really can't expect them to know all the laws. I mean, there's over 10,000 just federal laws alone. So I don't really expect them to know them all, but they did swear an oath to the Constitution of the United States and the state they're working in. So I would expect them to know those laws along with whatever local and state stuff they try to enforce. So I think the law enforcement needs to be retrained myself in many cases. And from what I have seen, that's what most of the First Amendment auditors do. But some of them, I agree, do push. Even I admitted they kind of push things a little too far sometimes. Some of them. But then again, the police push back. So, and in most cases, it's the law enforcement that approach the auditor, not the other way around. Anyway, on to the article. Police One has been addressing the ramifications of such interactions with articles and training, with a focus on how officers and departments might avoid lawsuits and bad public relations. The assumption has been that the intent of these auditors is to, however belligerently, ensure the free exercise of their First and Second Amendment rights without unconstitutional government intervention or suppression. Well, that pretty much says in a nutshell there, doesn't it? We want our rights recognized, and when there's no law being broken, leave us alone. Or leave them alone, whatever. Anyway, she says, I planned a cursory online look into the Leon Valley matter. Not to argue the merits of either side, it would take months for all the facts to come out, but rather as a springboard to reiterate the law I'd outlined in my earlier article governing police response to citizens recording them. Then I started coming across stuff that made me more curious. The curious stuff. As I suspected it would, the plaintiff's 45-page First Amendment complaint and jury demand alleges police violations of 42 U.S.C. 1983 and the First, Fourth, and 15th Amendments. It's based on police response to 3 protests in June that in combination involved detaining people, arresting people, and seizing recording devices. Yeah, I watched a couple of those. So they did detain them. Again, in my opinion, they were detained and arrested and the property seized all illegally. But, like I said, that's my opinion. None of the 11 plaintiffs are from Leon Valley. 4 are from San Antonio, a nearby metropolis of 1.5 million people. Leon Valley has around 11,000 people. Google both places and the first image for each is a study in contrasts. San Antonio sports a skyscraper skyline, while Leon Valley shows a rural water tank with the town's name. Only 2 other plaintiffs were even from Texas, 250 and 300 miles away, respectively. The rest were from Ohio, Arizona, and Illinois. Well, it's my understanding it doesn't matter where they're from. They're still humans, they're still taxpayers, and still U.S. citizens, and still subject to constitutional protection. Oh, well. Let's go back. I'm curious as to why there aren't any Leon Valley folks concerned about the constitutionality of their police department's actions. Similarly, the plaintiff's attorney is from a northern suburb of Detroit, where's the Texas ACLU? Thus far, I haven't even been able to find any comment from them. Well, maybe they don't want to get involved just yet. The first protest was of an arrest in Leon Valley in May of Jesus Padilla, who self-promotes as Mexican Padilla. He was purportedly arrested 3 times in April in other places, but evidence of 2 May arrests in Leon Valley leaves some confusion. According to the Houston Chronicle, Padilla was wrestled to the ground, handcuffed, and arrested for criminal trespass on May 9th because he refused to leave a wing of the police department when told to by Police Chief Joe Salvaggio. An online video that purports to be a May 9 arrest of Padilla shows a calm man who is recording with his cell phone being arrested without incident excuse me, in what appears to be a lobby area of the Leon Valley Municipal Building, which includes a police department outside a reception window, after he asked for a complaint form. He is not arrested by the chief, and there is no wrestling to the ground. Padilla was also arrested at the Leon Valley Police Department on May 2nd. A video purportedly of that arrest shows a very different acting man. About 17 and a half minutes into an almost 21-minute video, Padilla, who is recording with his cell phone, leaves a reception window and enters a hallway with officers. Chief Salvaggio comes out of one of the offices and asks, "Need some help, sir?" Padilla says no. The chief said this is a restricted area and asked him what he's doing there. Padilla responds in Spanish. The chief repeatedly says the area is restricted and asks him what he's doing there. Padilla again responds only in Spanish. The chief reaches an arm out. Padilla backs up and says, "No me touches, pendejo." The two continue their back and forth until the incident ends, as the Chronicle described. I'm curious as to which arrest is being protested and why Padilla isn't a plaintiff. I didn't know he wasn't a plaintiff, but then again, I don't know everything. I haven't seen all the articles and videos pertaining to Leon Valley. Those of you that do know what's going on down there know a lot better, probably know much more than I do and know better than I do. Okay, she said, I talked to Chief Salvaggio. I made it clear it wasn't my intent to get into the merits of any lawsuits, criminal charges, arrests, search warrants, or seizures. I merely asked if he had any advice for other police departments. I thought he might discuss how to avoid such incidents. Very simple. Educate your officers and your chiefs. But anyway, instead, the chief urged departments to prepare. Thug mentality. Not simply for people who want to film police activity. If they're not breaking the law, he says that's simple. Just leave them alone. He said departments need to prepare for outside agitators, harassment, death threats, and coordinated efforts at call flooding and records request flooding intended to overwhelm agency resources. He urged departments to have a pre- and post-incident plan that they coordinate with local prosecutors and city attorneys. Yeah, he had a really good plan, didn't he? From what I've seen, I don't think it's going to work out too well for Chief Salvaggio and Leon Valley, but that's my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. About half a cent on the open market, I believe. Anyway, Chief Salvaggio also urged law enforcement agencies to share information. Padilla had been arrested numerous times by different agencies. If departments share such information, they will be better able to prepare for what might be an outside organized event that could become huge in scale. The chief opined that some of these outside organizers were interested in anarchy and disrupting local governments by overwhelming demands on their resources, including litigation costs. Well, maybe he should have took his own advice before he started this. I don't know. Anyway, it's a hell of a mess, to say the least. Other rumblings. The Houston Chronicle noted that many online comments by Padilla's anonymous supporters encouraged violence against the cops. That violence did materialize, but the Chronicle did observe libertarians, First Amendment activists, and self-styled anarchists from as far away as California, Florida, and Ohio gathered at Leon Valley. Nearly all of those interviewed had a run-in with authorities, often child support or divorce related, that they said ignited their anti-government passions. Okay. I don't know of any of the auditors that I have met online or whatever that condone any sort of violence. They're all peaceful. They just want their constitutional rights recognized. But I can't say for some of these people that make comments. I mean, I've got a YouTube channel myself, and I usually post that I'm not responsible for the comments left on my channel. That's something I cannot control. I could delete them, but they'll come right back and put them back on. I've tried that. Anyway, now this is something else I don't condone. The chief's home address was published on YouTube along with threats that included, "Where's a talented sniper when you need one?" and "Kill pigs." Now, guys, that's carrying things a little too far. But there again, you can't control what people comment on your channel. It just can't be done. Leon Valley City Manager Kelly Kunstler, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, told Texas Public Radio that city officials and staff had been bombarded with online threats and harassing phone calls at all hours which included death threats and encompassed spouses and children. She said other small Texas municipalities were dealing with the same problem. The self-proclaimed activist had a GoFundMe page to raise money for his travel to Leon Valley, adding, "I'm in talks with many others to arrange for a large organized event in the month of July of 2018 to make clear that the actions being carried out by Leon Valley Police Department that violate people's civil rights are now getting attention from many of us across the country." Well, I guess that's one way to do it if you don't have the money to travel over there. I don't understand why he would announce that they're going to organize a large event, but I didn't post it. And I have no idea who that poster would have been. Anyway, a broader threat? Question mark. In the immediate aftermath of the Leon Valley incidents, Kevin Lawrence, director of the Texas Municipal Police Association, said he'd like to talk to auditors. "I'd like to know what their end game is. I'd like to know what victory looks like for them." There you go. Finally, somebody maybe wants to talk. Then again, it might end up being just more cop speak is the word, I believe is the word. Anyway, the answer may be more complicated than we initially thought. For some, it might be simply to test and educate the police on citizens' rights to record them. For others, it might be a passionate, long-held personal grudge match. For still others, it might be an organized national effort at anarchy and violence. Sad to say, but she does have a point there. Police in California have begun discussing training and planning for anarchists infiltrating peaceful protests and for internet organizing of outside agitators. Okay, that's all well and good, but in a crowd, how do you tell the difference initially? I mean, you can tell the difference after somebody starts opening their mouth and raising hell or whatever, but how do you plan for them to be there? I mean, I guess that's preventative maintenance in a sense, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, it says, please share your experience on Police One, especially if that experience includes auditors who seem to have no ties to the local community as police, but come from outside appeared. Let me reread that. Please share your experiences on Police One, especially if that experience includes auditors who seem to have no ties to the local community and its police, but come from outside, appear organized, or encourage violence and government disruption. I don't know personally of anyone that does that. Oh well, I didn't write the article. I'm just passing it along. Okay, guys, constitutionality. Listen to me. I can't even talk today. As my grandmother used to say, I've got my tongue around my eye tooth and can't see what I'm saying. Constitutionality news, and I'm out. Y'all have a wonderful day. Bye now.